Today, as we're going to take time to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the lessons he taught us about justice and the struggle for equality, have never been more important than today. So to celebrate Dr. King, I'd like each of us to read a quote from the civil rights leader and reflect on the meaning behind his speeches. So I guess I'll go first. He said, "A riot is the language of the unheard." I'm not counting the riot at the White House because that's a whole different thing. But the riots back in his day, it's but the people just constantly felt like there was just so much inequality with Black folks in America, and they just weren't getting their fair shake. So they had to take to the streets and riot to be heard, to get the attention, which happened all of last summer during all the Black Lives Matter and the protests for George Floyd. They started as protests, and then some became riots. But a lot of people. There's two thought like Malcolm X was the one that was like about the guns, and Malcolm and MLK was so peaceful. But you know what? He had some spunk to him as well. So I just want to say that we're still dealing with the things that he was talking about back then.
I know. I saw some images of like people crying. CNN did a little video montage, and I said, "Wow, here we are, 2020." And history is repeating itself with these same crazy, disturbing images.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a quote too that I am to read, which resonated with me. I like to take a moment to read it now. It says, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." That resonates with me because I think of a leader. I think of a family man, and per the Bible, Adam was first. And so it's something to be said about the person that's supposed to lead us. And so it is convenient when you are knowing where you are, knowing what you have coming your way, and you stand there, and it's maybe an easy task for you. But when it gets uncomfortable, when you have to be stretched to go to that next level, that next dimension, then what are you standing strong and tall for then? You have to be able to do just the same as though it's easy to you, like the army and like the soldiers did, and like Martin Luther King Jr. definitely did. He had a dream. Yes. And when I listened to that speech and listened to how profound and how articulate that he sounded as a reverend, how the words just came off his tongue, it's so chilling to me. So it's like, it makes you sad and happy at the same time, because you think to yourself, who do we have like that now? And that's not to put down anybody, especially my good friend, Reverend Al Sharpton, because he has definitely put it down for us and did his thing. But when you think about after that, this millennial, this age, who do we have now that's that bone-chilling changer leader that we have? And we have to collectively be that amongst ourselves together. We may have to just be that. For everyone, it may not be one person, but for right now, he was dead on the money. And Claudia, you were right. Absolutely, Vivica, when you said that everything that they went through then,
we're seeing again.
Going through it again right now. So that just proves to us that we still have more work to do. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I have a quote as well. And it's one of my favorite quotes by him because it's like a model that I have lived by in my regular life. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And so to me, this quote, I have applied to my life and I think that anyone can apply this to their lives. Now, back when he said the quote, he was probably referring to the civil rights movement with all of the opposition that they had to face during their times of protest and trying to make change for the better for our people. So basically, I take it as he was saying, listen, no matter what it takes, we have to just keep moving forward. Also, probably, when they were walking in Selma, they were walking. So they were getting hit, beaten, kicked, sprayed, all kind of stuff. But he just, the motto was to keep moving forward. But isn't that indicative of what we need to do in our regular lives? When opposition comes up against us, we just have to keep moving forward. COVID, we get a pandemic, COVID-19, keep moving forward. Our president is a fool. They rushed the Capitol, keep moving forward. Like, with everything that happens in our country, in our lives, personally or just outwardly, the message should just be to keep it moving, you know, because what's the alternative? You know what I'm saying? So
right. We're not going backwards, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Hello, somebody.
Yes. So I'd like to read my quote, and my quote says, "It may be true that the law cannot make a man love me, but it can keep him from lynching me." And I think that that's pretty important. And that statement, I want to talk about that statement.
Okay.
Because I think one of the things that disturbed me the most about the riots that happened in DC last week was, did you guys see that there was a noose that they had taken and did a thing with the noose? Like, what is that?
That's the good old boys, and that's the KKK and all of that. And then when it happened last year, some part of last year in LA, right outside of Los Angeles, there were a lynching of,
it was in Palmdale, right?
Black men. And so again, what was going on then and what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was talking about then is the same thing. And we would not think that we would be talking about lynching, not in 2020. Yeah. Not at all.
Yeah. I watched a little piece on Facebook today, and it had the top 10 states where most lynchings took place. And after slavery was over, and Texas was number 3.
Georgia was on there.
I think Georgia was number 1. It was really bad.
St. Louis.
Who was number 2, Claudia? Do you know?
I can't remember. You know, I'm going to send y'all the video because I was going to repost it on my page.
It might have been St. Louis.
But it was watching it. It was so sad. It was so sad watching this, and like the things that they would dehumanize for and use the mob against us. And they're still doing it to this day. They're still trying it. But guess what? They will not overcome because we will.
Yes. Yeah. Have you guys heard like some of the videos and stuff of some of the people that were stupid enough to stop and be interviewed and be able to be completely identified? That, you know, some of their reasoning for doing this, and it just blows your mind away. It's like, did y'all not get? But what I love is all of them are condemning Trump. They said Trump told us to do this. You know, it just. That was all they're saying. They're like incriminating their guy. Trump wanted us to do this.
The FBI has over 100,000 pieces of electronic evidence against them because they wanted their dumbass selves. And we're gonna take a quick break. But before we get a break, real quick, Melania, Ivanka on Twitter using the words of Martin Luther King Jr. Keep his name out your mouth because you're
all the way
reflect what he's talking about. You ain't mind your business.
Funny streets.
Yeah, get out of here.
You ain't even from here. Exactly. Go sit down somewhere.
I'll say about that too when we come back.
We're taking a quick break, and we will be back with more historic moments and more about MLK when we come back right after this.
No doubt.
We will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last